Hello everybody, welcome to scrapbook process number 69. I'm going to say this is a layout I've done with the Prima St Tropez collection. It is not a design team layout, but I am going to be using a couple of bits that I've got left over from one of the Thompson's Craft Supplies kits. I think it's the March one, the nautical themed one. But which obviously I can link that for you if you're interested, but it's not like an official design team kind of thing, just using leftover bits just for me. So yes, oh by the way, while I remember, if you can hear the fan in the background, I'm sorry, but it's too hot. I'm not turning it off. I refuse. I will not do that for no one. Nope. That was not very good English. So yes, for this layout I'm starting off giving it a border. I wanted a really wide border because that paper there, which I've forgotten the name of, sorry, just that lovely floral on a navy background, and it's got spots of copper foiling. I just wanted you to be able to see like a good amount of it. So the paper I've cut there, which is the map one, I'm going to say it's about 8 inches wide, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe about 8.5, almost 9, but that kind of size. I distressed the edges, as you can see, and I'm adding some distress oxide in frayed burlap around the edges just so it stands out a little bit more. That paper, by the way, I was so confused. I bought it ages ago. I bought it from Thompson's Craft Supplies actually, and I just assumed because the collection is called Prima St Tropez, then it would be a map of where St Tropez is, and I didn't really look at it. And then when I got it out to use, I was looking at it, I'm like, my geography isn't fabulous, but I'm pretty sure that's not St Tropez. And then I started noticing some of the names on the map that were like quite English place names, and I'm going, what on earth is... Turns out it's like the area of the USA. I think it's like around sort of like the Boston or Massachusetts. I'm sorry if I've got that totally wrong, by the way, but that kind of area of the world, I'm going, why on earth? And obviously that place in the world has a lot of place names that are originally British place names, so I'm just like, why on earth is it a map of that place? I don't know if that's maybe where Frank Garcia is from or where Prima is based or something, but anyways, total random tangent there. It was just, I think it's just the fact that I sat there looking so long at this paper being so confused about why on earth Massachusetts was on the map. But anyways, moving on, shall we? I did some stamping in the background there. I've moaned about these before. These are the woodware stamps. Some of them stamped fine. The separate ones, like the lighthouse and the bubbles, they kind of stamped okay, but the ones that are just one big background stamp, they just don't stamp very well, and it's annoyed me, and I'm not going to bang on about it because I've already done that in a previous video, but just why when they're not cheap stamps? But anyway, I am going to cover most of that up anywho's. So I just went in with a stencil there, that sort of Tim Holtz squares stencil with some glass bead paste, just to give it a little bit of texture. And I wanted this to kind of look like a little bit of a sandy background, so having all those little glass beads was really helpful for that, though I am going to end up covering up quite a lot of that. So I'm using this sand paste here, which was from that Thompson's kit I was talking about, as is that stencil that I'm using. I've mixed it with a gelato in a colour I've forgotten the name of, I'm so sorry, I'll put it in the description box, and a distress crayon. That sand paste works better if you use a dry colour medium to colour it rather than a wet one, because it really waters it down if you use a spray or something and it doesn't spread very well. So that's why I use the dry colour mediums like the distress crayon and the gelato. And I just, with the stencil, went all over that, so we've got this sandy texture that's also in a net shape. And now I'm going to add some of these little net pieces, like fishing net things. Again, those were from that previous Thompson's kit. My photo, by the way, in case you've noticed that it's shrunk in size, I decided I didn't want to use the slightly bigger one, and then I wanted to, so I printed it off a little bit smaller, just because I've made that middle bit so much smaller with the really wide border that using the proper, I think it was a 3x5 photo originally, was just, it was too big. The photo, by the way, is me and my mum. We are at the harbour down where we live, and there were some awesome boats that we went out to see. Like, I swear half the town turned up just to see a couple of boats. I mean, it was very nice. They're lovely boats, but just shows that sometimes there's not much else to do, really. But they were very pretty and very lovely, and it was a really beautiful sunny day. I think this was last year. Yeah, definitely last year. So I've just got a selfie of us with one of the boats and the beautiful sea in the background, and it's just an obvious picture to use St Tropez with, really, isn't it? that what's it called, like the cheeseclothy stuff, I've just pulled at that and just put it over the top there. Just adds a really lovely texture. And now I'm going to add a load of little shells and little starfish. I got these on eBay some time ago. If I can go, you know, back in my eBay history and find them, I will link them, but they're fairly easy to find if you just type in, you know, like shells or starfish or something. These little resin flowers I'm using, I picked these up at the range recently. They were very cheap. They're a lovely pearlescent colour. I am going to colour them, but you could use them just like that because they are very pretty. And I'm going to go in with a selection now of micro beads in copper, and then also some little glass beads which are slightly bigger, just for lots and lots of texture and like to imply sand and stones and stuff. And then I've got some of these really, really tiny mini art stones which were actually in another Thompson's kit. I swear, not sponsored, just I have lots of stuff left over to use. And yes, I'm just pouring those all over the place again, adding loads and loads of texture to this layout. Once all that was very, very dry, like you can see I used the gloss gel to stick everything down, and while it is one of the best adhesives out there for sticking stuff to other stuff like metal embellishments, plastic embellishments, whatever, you do need to give it its time to dry. So this was left for like at least 6 hours, and then I'm going in with some white gesso, normal gesso, not heavy, and I am dry brushing over the whole lot. And I really mean dry brushing in that I've got the minimum amount of gesso on my brush because I don't know, if I had too much on my brush then I just got like a thick layer of gesso, and yeah, I just wanted that sort of light effect. I'm probably not explaining that very well, I'm very sorry. And here I'm going to go in with my colours. I've got Heidi Swap Colour Shine in Ocean, Dilutions in Calypso Teal, and Mr. Huey's in the colour Sky, and I'm spraying those on by getting really, really, really close to what I want to colour. It just gives you a lot more control over where the colour is going to go. Obviously you don't always want that. Sometimes it's way more fun to just spray and see what happens, but I wanted to get a little bit of control over what was happening where. I put that aside to dry. So basically the whole point is to colour the whole thing white and then you recolour it yourself. I could have just left it and kept the sand colours and the copper colours and the colours of the nets and stuff, but I wasn't feeling it. It was too many different colours and I really, really wanted to just, you know, have some gorgeous blues and stuff. So while I waited for that to dry, I am backing my photo with a couple of layers of paper from that collection. There's like the boardwalk one, which has got the wood panels. There's a floral one, 2 floral ones actually, and I'm going to distress the very edges of that. I'm going to prop that up on with some foam because obviously some of the places it's going to stick onto, there's flowers and netting and all sorts of things, so I just had to put a little bit of foam on the back so it would be level with everything else. It was very stubborn about staying down that as well, so there, I put my water bottle on it to keep it down. Probably not, well, there's nothing wrong with using my water bottle as a weight in case you're going to freak out that it leaks or something. I know my water bottle doesn't leak, so it's fine. So I'm going to add a load of flowers here. All of the flowers I use are various ones from the range that I just pick up whenever I see them in store because they're just so handy. I've got a mix of types there. There's like the smaller ones that have like 5 sort of petals with a pearl in the middle, and then there's the more roundy ones in more different colours and stuff, but as I said, they're all from the range. I don't tend to link these in my videos because the problem is where if you order them online, it's a lucky dip situation and you don't know what colour you're going to get. So yes, it's a problem. That little gem I'm sticking down there, I kid you not, I found it on the floor as I was doing this layout. I know that sounds ridiculous, and it implies that my floor is covered in stuff and really messy. It's not, but I was just like moving over to get something from the other side of my craft room and something shiny caught my eye and there was this really pretty gem on the floor. I was like, I'm gonna put that on my layout, why not? So I did. I'm also putting those glass thingies on there. Is it melange? I don't know the name, I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know, like the things you'd put in a fishbowl or like in a wedding centerpiece or something, those glass bead things. I get them off eBay. I also added some flat back pearls as well. Have I already done that? Yes, I have. Those flat back pearls I was adding, they are from eBay. I bought them a very long time ago. I actually bought them for the purpose of like photo props, but since I've been more and more into mixed media, they've been useful for that as well. But I use lots of blue ones, obviously, because we've got lots of blue going on. I did go back in with a little bit more dry brushing with the white gesso just to lighten up certain areas, and it sort of gives more areas definition and stuff, and it, you know, so the whole thing isn't so flat and the same sort of colour, just, yeah, highlights certain bits. And now I'm going in with various little embellishments, ephemera pieces, chipboard pieces and whatnot from that St Tropez collection. I've got that You Are My Anchor. A lot of them, by the way, I went around the edges in the frayed burlap distress oxide just to give them some depth and stuff and match like the edge of the paper. But yeah, they're all going on there. I've chosen You Are My Anchor as my title, and that is in lovely copper foiling. I know it says lovely up the top there, and you'd think that was the title because it's bigger, but yeah. There's You and Me as well, and then just lots of various little phrases and things. The lovely, as I stick it down, obviously you can see the gloss gel underneath, and it's all weird and white and patchy, but it doesn't dry like that. Obviously it dries clear. Oh, and that little sea turtle as well, he was a fussy cut from a paper that was, again, I'm sorry to keep mentioning it, from that Thompson's Craft Supplies mixed media kit from March. I have a couple of those little sea turtles left over, and I'm using the sequin mix from that kit. I am so in love with this sequin mix. Louise, if you're watching and you've got any more of these hidden away, then I will give you obscene amounts of money for it because I love it so much and I am running low. I think it's the most perfect nautical sequin mix because it's just like, it's got that mix of mother and pearl and some brownie ones as well as the blue ones. It's lovely. And I'm going to finish off with some splatters with the Distress Spray Stain in Picket Fence, and then also a little bit of Heidi Swap Colour Shine in the colour Navy. I love white splatters. They make me so happy, and the navy ones as well. I just thought it would look nice with the mix of white splatters and navy splatters. And as far as I know, I think that is everything I do to this layout. If I've missed anything, like if I missed out a stage or anything, do let me know and I will do my best to kind of explain what I did or whatever. But yes, I think that is it. One thing I did off camera, however, when it was completely dry, I really ripped and pulled at the edges of that paper just so that it would look a bit more distressed and stuff. So, but obviously I had to wait till everything was utterly, completely dry for that. So hopefully you can see that in the pictures what I did with really distressing and sort of folding and pulling at that. But yes, okay, I am done. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions or anything to say. If you would leave me a thumbs up, I would so appreciate it. It helps me out as a little channel so much. And other than that, I believe it's quite time for me to go. So yes, thank you so much again. Bye bye.